Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning, team. In today's session, we will talk about introduction to Fabric, introduction to Microsoft Fabric, team, and we will understand what is Fabric, why we need it, okay, what we can do, right? So many things we are going to discuss in today's session. So now my first question to all of you is, as you know, the Fabric we are discussing or we are learning because we want to become a data engineers, or some of you already working on different data engineering tools. So Fabric is also getting a demand, so that's why you want to learn the Fabric. Now my first question to all of you is, anybody aware what is data engineering? Arjinder, you know what is data engineering?
Basically the data engineering is just a mechanism of like you can building or you can maintain operating the infrastructure. Uh, you can say the systems or the pipelines that we can process or the store or the information, or we can define the information that already we have. So that can be helps in pulling the more efficient.
Okay. Yeah, so you explained good, but I think there is a small misconception is there here. You are talking or you are saying infrastructure. So we as a data engineers, we don't care about the infrastructure. Infrastructure means what? So the like the services, the compute that is required to execute our code, right? Storage account for storing our data. So all these things will be maintained by the admin team infra. So data engineering means, remember, data engineering is the process of collecting the data from various sources, store the data in the cloud. Generally, before cloud, all our clients are maintaining their data in the on-premise environment. So data engineering is nothing but it is a process of collecting data from various sources, store them in the cloud. So where we will store in cloud is generally we use data lake storage, because data lake storage can store structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data, and it can hold unlimited data. So that's why we collect data from various sources and store them in a data lake storage in cloud. Okay, once the data is centralized, like once data is collected and stored in a centralized storage, or you can say in a single storage, we will use Spark for transforming this data, because Spark will helps you to do advanced data transformations. So we perform the transformation using this Spark. Then we will keep the data, like we will prepare the data for the reporting, right? So that what happens is this reporting team can use this particular data for analytics and business decisions. So they want to analyze how they are doing business, and then if wherever they feel they are not doing business as expected, they are going to take a business decisions to improve the business. That is what data engineering means. So I am summarizing it. Data engineering is the process of collecting, storing, transforming, and preparing the data so that this data can be used for analytics and business decisions. Okay, clear, team?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Right. Now, so I'll just give you some flow so that it will be easy for you. Like generally, we will have a source systems. Okay. From the source systems, what we will do, we will be just from source systems, we do the ingestion pipeline, data ingestion. This is called a data ingestion. We do the data ingestion and load the data into the data storage. Data storage is nothing but, as I said, data lake we will be using. Then we will be performing the data transformations. Finally, this data is consumed by who? Who will consume this data? Analytics and reporting. Okay, able to understand him? Everybody is clear?
Yes.
Okay, now this is a flow. Anybody have any doubts still here? We are good. Now, first question is, I said we have a different source systems. From the different source systems, we will bring data and load it into the data storage, right? Just a minute, Tim, 1 second. Hello. Sorry, Tim. Now we said the data is storing in a different source systems, right? But how the data is coming into these different source systems? Just to think of, if you are doing a retail, what happens to him? Flipkart, Amazon. You will be placing orders from them. When you place a order first time, you need to create a account, meaning you are giving customer data. Then you are placing a product, so they know what products you are purchasing. When you purchase, they know in on which day you purchased, calendar information they will have, how you purchased, right? So they will have a information. You purchased from Amazon store, or you purchased through Amazon online. So you will have all that information, right? So that's how the basically data is going to come and store in the backend. When you go and place a order in a Amazon website, or you go to Amazon store and bring that data. Okay. Sorry, purchase the products. Similarly, if it is a finance, if it is a finance things, let's say you go to bank and you will open a bank account. Okay, you will take a loan. You will start making the EMI payments, right? And then let's say, then what else you will have in the bank, right? So whatever daily transactions that you are doing, right? Maybe you will do the transaction through UPI, you will do transaction through net banking, and you may do the transactions through, like, for example, if you are using SBI Yono Bank, you may be using, right? You can make a transactions through mobile app, net banking, UPIs, phone pay, Google Pay, anything, right? So when you make these transactions, you take a loan, you make a payments, you are paying through these things. Everything is a data that is collected and stored in the different data sources. So I don't want to give so many examples because we will stop here itself. I'll give you few so that you will know. You consider anything, Tim, in the healthcare domain also. What happens when patient take his blood reports and all, they will store. So you'll have a patient information, his health condition, and many other parameters will be stored in the background, right? So in travel industry, if you say you need to create your account, they will have entire history of your travel, like how frequently you are traveling, in which location, from where to where you are frequently traveling, everything will be there. So this is how the data is collected into different source systems. The data we will be ingesting into the cloud centralized storage, where we can store unlimited data. Then we'll be transforming the data. The data is consumed by the reporting team for analytics and the decision making. Now my question is, why data engineering? You understood what is data engineering, but why we need data engineering exactly?
To so to help business to know how they can make their business better, like to grow the business or what products are being used.
Mm, Grow business and what products are used. Yes, that is just what is data engineering, what you are doing, and
Yeah.
why we are doing means, yes. So they wanted to know which products are doing well and all. But as a
Yes.
data engineer, that is a business decisions what they're doing. But as a
Yes.
data engineers, we are existed and we are collecting the data, we are transforming the data. Why we need to do all these things? But why reporting team not able to directly take the source data and create the reports to understand what they
Oh,
are doing?
because we need to clean up the data, right? So that would be kind of a raw data, right? So lots of data that they, so that data, right, it will not make sense to the reporting team directly. So we have to
Very,
clean the data, and if there is some missing data, so we have to uh, correct the data.
very good, Sapan. Very good. So remember, team, you know, like our analyst team or reporting, they cannot directly use this raw data because remember, raw data may have missing values. Correct? Raw data may have a duplicate data. Then raw data may have an inconsistent format. For example, whoever is making a payment through UPI, the transaction date is coming differently. Whoever is making transactions through SBI, they are getting a date in a different format. So when you have a same transactions in through the same bank, but they have used two different ways to do the same transaction. So what happens as a result, transaction date is coming in totally different, but I want to put it in a consistent format so that when I'm analyzing, it will be easy for me. Correct. So this is one thing. Next thing, data coming from multiple systems. When data is coming from multiple systems, we don't know how each system can able to store, what are the limitations of different systems. So you need to analyze and you need to see, is there any missing data, duplicates are coming from this particular source. So you need to analyze all these things. So that's why I remember, data engineering team, what they are going to do is, data engineering team, what they will do, they are going to collecting this particular data, then they will be cleaning this data. Okay, they will be cleaning this data, then they will be transforming this data. Okay, and make it ready for analytics. How simple it is. Everybody understood why we need data engineering?
That makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the third question, because let me ask you some questions so that you will understand what we are learning first. What is ETL and ELT? Even interviewer also will ask these questions. Okay, it is not like only I am asking. Anybody ever what is ETL or ELT?
Extraction, transformation, and loading the data.
Right.
Extract, transform, and load, and extract, load, and transform.
Okay. See, generally remember, Tim, E means extract the data. Extract means same as a collect, right? T means transform the data. L means load the data. Earlier, before cloud, right? We were having Informatica, we were having SSIS, we were having a data stage to do the data engineering. So there, how things will work is, we will read data from source system. Okay, so we use some ETL tool for processing the ETL, meaning we will extract the data. Once we extract it, we do the transformations. So how you will do the transformation? Using SSIS packages, meaning stored procedures. Data stage is one more popular. Third one is Informatica. So these are the different ETL tools we generally use to extract, to read data from source. Once we read, we transform this data, then we will finally load it into the data warehouse. Generally, this is how the earlier projects will look like, ETL. But now projects are ELT. In cloud, these projects are called ELT. What is meant by ELT is, it is not a new word. Only thing is, this L is going first. Meaning, we just discussed what we discussed. First you look like from different sources, you extract the data and then you first load it into data lake storage. Once you load it, we will be using a Spark or SQL transformation, meaning again we are reading data from data lake, we are performing a transformation. That output again I'll write it back to the data lake only. So here extracting, loading is happening. After that I am performing a transformation. That's why this is called a ELT. Everybody understood? So ELT is mainly done. It is here ELT tools are like Databricks, Snowflake, Fabric. We generally perform ELT in these particular services. Clear? Next, I want to ask you, you know what is the difference between batch versus streaming data?
Streaming is coming data continuously. Batch processing means batch by batch you can process the data. I mean some scheduled time, batch processing. Streaming means live data. It is continuously data is coming. Every 1 minute also. Live connection, live data.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else ever tell what is batch versus streaming? Suresh said, but anybody else aware? Sapan, you
So,
aware?
sir, streaming is like like the real time data, right? Like temperature and weather data that we get. That's kind of streaming data. And then the batch data is uh, the batch data is one that we get it in like some certain schedule times. Like we load it at particular time. Like billing and
Okay, correct. Sukhdev,
report.
fine. Sukhdev, batch versus streaming data. What do you explain?
Yeah, batch processing when we schedule the pipelines, right, in a batch, like in a group, right? And streaming data we process as soon as it arrives.
Okay, correct. Streaming?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right, as
I mean
soon
the
as it.
streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Tejasri?
So batch data is a kind of historical data, sir. That means it's in huge amounts. While as the streaming data is, as someone said, it will be having continuously. It is a live data.
Right. Arjinder?
Yep. So the batch, the difference is the batch is in the batches that has been scheduled, like let's say the weekly or hourly. At a certain time, the sales is running, or certain times the billing is done, and I believe the streaming is the live, where you're getting the live feed, what is happening there.
So, simple example, you think of employee salaries. When they will pay? Monthly.
Monthly
Every
or
month. Generally, in India, salaries will pay every month. But in UK and other countries, I think they will pay every 2 weeks, right? Yes. So yeah, in based on a country, so some countries, some people they will pay weekly, some countries they will pay every 2 weeks once. But in general, in India, they will pay every month. Salaries they will pay every month. So that is kind of a batch, okay, monthly batch. Similarly, your credit card bill, for example, if you are using a credit card in India, credit card bill will generate every month end. What is meant by that? They are like looking at your all the transactions of that particular month and they are processing at month end. That is called a batch. Let's say there were a sales are happening, so business wants to know how the sales are happening for today and tomorrow. Every day they want to know. That is called a daily batch, meaning every 24 hours they will analyze and they understand how they are doing their sales. That is called a batch sales, daily batch. So the definition of batch processing means processing data at a scheduled intervals. Okay, processing batch means processing data at scheduled interval. What is meant by scheduled interval? Maybe you can process every hour, you can process, see, every 30 minutes you can process, every hour you can process, every 6 hours you can process, every day like 24 hours, 24 hours, every 24 hours or one day you can say, every day, every day you can say. You might have seen in real time, you will see every week, every month, every quarter, right, every year. So your batch means you will have a schedule. So I have given some of the examples, but you may have a more regular schedule intervals, meaning every 2 hours also they can schedule, every 3 hours also they can schedule, but they will give some time so that data will be collected and they will process all the collected data at once. Let's say every 1 hour means what? Let's say 1 o'clock pipeline ran. Okay, so 1 o'clock pipeline ran means it will pick the data whatever is collected from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Again, 2 o'clock pipeline is running. Let's say 2 o'clock pipeline is running means what happened? 1 to 2, whatever data is collected, everything will be processed at 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock pipeline is running. What it does? 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, whatever data is collected will be processed. So that is what the batch processing means. As I have given the examples, sales reports generated daily. Okay, or you can say your payroll, right? Your payroll will be processed monthly in India, especially I'm talking about in India. Okay. Now let's talk about streaming data. When you say streaming data means processing data in real time, processing data in real time. So what are the examples for you to understand easily? Stock market data, and IoT sensors, right? IoT sensors. Some people told, right? So the temperatures. So when they are doing mining, so they want to know different parameters. They wanted to analyze. Okay, they want to know like the temperature and other parameters. Okay, oxygen levels, everything they wanted to continuously monitor. Along with that, fraud detection means, let's say when there is a continuously 10 transactions happened in your bank, immediately bank will consider it as a suspected transaction. You never do like 2 3 transactions per day, but within a short time, within 10 15 minutes they have observed 10 transactions, then immediately your account will be kept it in the hold, and they need confirmation from you as a customer. From your phone number you have to call them and you need to confirm them. They also will call you. Generally, if you see ICICI bank, generally I was using actually. So whenever I make a transaction, they will immediately trigger a call. If you make a transaction which is less, like which is greater than 5,000, 10,000, immediately they'll call and they'll say, "Is that done by you?" If it is yes, you press one. So they'll ask why. So that is a fraud detection. They are continuously processing data to identify the fraud. Okay, fine. Now let's understand what is Microsoft Fabric. Okay. So, in order to understand what Microsoft Fabric is, let's understand what problem existed before Fabric. Because see, human evolution will happen when there was a problem, people will think, right? See, for example, now you talk about the Ola, you talk about the Zomato, all these people, how they evolved, how they started their business, because the people who initiated this kind of business, they really faced this problem. Similarly, when you have a problem, you will think about the solution, right? If you are in a comfort zone, you never think about the solutions. So that's why Fabric is a new tool introduced by Microsoft. But what is the reason for that? What about the problem? Okay, remember team, before Fabric, earlier, like Microsoft had many tools, many tools. You know, what are those tools? The popular tools, Azure Data Factory. Second service, maybe people are not using now, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Lake Storage, Power BI. We are also using Databricks, right? So if you look at, right, all these are separate services. Now what Microsoft does is Microsoft Fabric combines everything into one platform, meaning data factory, as we discussed, for data ingestion, right, from various sources into the cloud, we can use data factory or Synapse. Okay, so data lake we need for storing the data. Once the data lake is there, you will use Databricks for data transformations. You will write the data back to data lake. From the data lake, now Power BI will consume the data for creating the reports. How simple it is. Okay, if you remove Synapse I'll just introduce, but you see, data factory is collecting the data and loading into data lake. Then Databricks for, okay, 1 second, let me just change the order. Just a minute. Let me change the order so that it will be easy. See, we are using Data Factory to collect data from various sources into data lake. Once the data is loaded into data lake, we use Databricks for data transformation and make the data ready in data lake. Once data is ready, Power BI will use for creating the reports. Okay. So here, instead of using Data Factory and Databricks separately, two different services, you can use a Synapse. Synapse does what Data Factory and Databricks can do. Okay, but Databricks is much more advanced, and Databricks tool is introduced or developed by the same person who developed the Spark. Okay, any new features in Spark first compatible with Databricks, later Microsoft has to develop. So that's why still Databricks has very huge demand than anything else. Okay, now Synapse, if you use, still you can write a Spark code. You can develop a data factory pipeline, meaning data factory, Databricks, what it can do, you can do in a Synapse also. But what Fabric is going to bring? Fabric is bringing all features of everything. Okay, Synapse is basically they combined few things. Still, we are using some additional tools within the Synapse. But now Fabric is a all-in-one solution. All-in-one means what? All subjects. When you are studying, instead of having one subject in uh, one subject, one notebook, like one textbook, instead of maintaining, you can maintain a all-in-one. All-in-one means everything is combined, everything is coming in a single book. Correct. So that's why Microsoft Fabric is called a unified analytics. Unified means it is just unifying all these things. That's why this is called a unified analytics platform that integrates data engineering. You know what is data engineering now? Okay, data engineering, data integration. You know, data integration means you are integrating, you are connecting to the various sources. Data warehousing, where your final reporting data, you can say data warehousing means, which is for storing or reporting data. And business intelligence. Business intelligence means Power BI reporting, right? Business intelligence in a single environment, you can say. Okay, remember team, it is very simple. Unified analytics platform, Microsoft Fabric means it's a unified analytical platform. It is just unifying all the analytics platforms that integrated data engineering. Okay, data engineering means the process of collecting, okay, collecting, storing, transforming the data, right? And making data ready for the reporting. So that is what the data engineering. So whatever is required for the data engineering, everything it is unified. So what are those? First, data integration. Azure Data Factory we are using for connecting to the various source systems. Integration means connecting to the various source systems and collecting the data and storing in a data lake. Once the data is available in data lake, we are using a data Spark for transforming the data, and we will load that data into data warehouse. Once data is available in data warehouse, business intelligence like Power BI is going to use that particular data for creating reports. Everything is going to happen in a single environment. Clear, team? Everybody understood?
Yes.
Yeah, please let me know, team, if anybody have any questions. Anybody have any questions? Can you quickly tell me? No questions?
No, sir.
Okay, right. Now let me talk about Microsoft Fabric components. What are the Microsoft Fabric components? Anybody aware? First one is called a OneLake. OneLake means generally before Fabric, business uses multiple data lake storages for storing their data. Okay, maybe you think of this way. They will create finance data in a finance data lake, their logistics data in logistic data lake, their manufacturing data in manufacturing data lake, their procurement data in a procurement. Okay, then their I told finance, logistics, manufacturing, and procurement and sales data is here. So let me explain in a flow. Generally what happens, you will procure the raw material, then you will be manufacturing it. Once you manufacture it, then you will be selling it. Okay, this is procurement, manufacturing. After manufacturing, you are selling. Once you sell it, you will be sending logistic. Logistic means you will be transferring these products to the purchase, whoever purchased. Okay, this is logistics. Once you send it, you need to collect the amount. That is nothing but a finance. Generally, we have procurement, manufacturing, sales, logistic, finance. Generally, in any sales domain, you will have 5 different functional areas. Got it? When you have these functional areas, what happens earlier is for procurement data, we create a separate storage. For manufacturing, we create a separate storage. These are different data lakes we maintain for each functional area. But in Fabric, it is dealing things differently. So we will have a OneLake, which is nothing but a centralized storage, you can say. Okay, you can say OneLake is a centralized storage, or you can say it is a single logical data lake. Okay, logical data lake that stores all organizational data. Okay, got it, Tim? So normally you have OneDrive, right? OneDrive is a place, single place where all your data can be stored. Similarly, OneLake is similar to OneDrive. OneLake is for the Fabric, where you can store all your data. Let's say now I want to create, now I want to maintain my data in uh, separately within a OneLake. What you can do, you can create a something called folders. You can folders within OneLake like finance, procurement, logistics, sales. So you'll create a different folders and you can able to store the respective data in the respective folders. Next, earlier we were using different storages, right? Like for procurement, manufacturing, and so on. Let's say sales team want, like some finance team, they want to know what products they have sold. So sales information they want means from the sales storage, you need to copy some of the sales data to the financial storage. Yes or no? Are you getting or are you not getting the point here? I told you you'll have a procurement, you'll have a manufacturing, right? You will have a sales, okay, then you will be sending them logistics, you will have your finance team. Now let's say finance team wants to know some of the products that they have sent in recent days, so they are going to access the sales data. We need to store it in a financial storage account. Now what is happening, same data you are storing in a two different storages, meaning unnecessarily you are duplicating the data, which result in increasing the storage cost. So that's why OneLake, what it does, OneLake is nothing but a one copy. Okay, one copy of the data. If you have a data in a different folders, for example, in this folder we have some finance data, in sales data. Now sales data you want to access into this folder, you can use a something called shortcut. You no need to copy this entire data here. You can create a something called shortcut. Everybody able to understand?
Yes,
You can
but the
create.
question on a really quick one, sorry to interrupt, is when you said the OneLake data storage, don't they use the different format of the data, maybe the file structure or the object structure? So, or it's gonna be the unified is gonna be the file.
OneLake is, remember team, within a OneLake you can create a
Mhm.
lakehouse, you can create a warehouse. It is all on top of a OneLake only. Okay. Lakehouse is designed for storing structured, semi-structured, unstructured data. Whereas warehouse is designed for storing structured data only. Structured data means, you know, right, only tables. But here you can store data in a tables, files, anyhow. Okay. Anything you can store in a lakehouse, but warehouse only tables. But end of the day, whether you are storing a data in a warehouse or lakehouse, it is all created on top of one. Understood? As I said, lakehouse and warehouse are a kind of a folders will get created. When you create a warehouse folder, it knows what to allow. It will allow only structured data, meaning table or data. When you create a lakehouse folder, it knows the type is lakehouse, means it knows it can allow you to store any type of data. So everything I'll show you practically, but for now you need to remember. Got it? Anybody have any doubts still here? I need to explain to you Microsoft Fabric components. Still there are a lot of components.
No, sir. Good.
Thank you for the explanation.
One more thing, right? Here remember, warehouse is basically, you can say it is for SQL analytics. For performing any SQL related analytics, we use this. But here we generally use Lakehouse, right? It is for storing data. Here we use Spark Analytics. Spark we use for the processing. Generally, if it is a Lakehouse, we use Spark for transformation. If your data is in warehouse, we use SQL for our processing. Okay. Remember, Lakehouse and warehouse are the actual component. OneLake is, you will not be able to say, I want to create OneLake. You will not create. When you create a Fabric account, OneLake will be added automatically. But in your Fabric, you can create only Lakehouse and warehouse. When you create a Lakehouse and warehouse, where it will create in OneLake. I'll show you in the back end what is happening, everything. It is feasible for you to see. It is easy for you to understand. Next, I want to talk about a data factory is the next component. Okay, next component is data factory. It is for data pipelines. Data pipelines are designed for collecting data, scheduling, data collection. Let's say you created a pipeline to collect data from various source systems and load it into the OneLake. Now, every day at what time you want to run? Every day at 4 o'clock, every day at 5 o'clock, every hour, every day, like every 2 hours once. So you can create a schedule this pipeline so that it will, based on your schedule, continuously it will collect the data. After that, within the pipeline, you can also do the orchestration, or you can call it as organizing the things. Meaning, so I have one pipeline which copy the data. I have another pipeline which transform this data. I have another pipeline for refreshing the PBI report, Power BI report. So I have a pipeline one, pipeline two, pipeline three. I want to run on success of pipeline one, run pipeline two. On success of pipeline two, run pipeline three. I want to orchestrate. That also will be done through the data pipeline. Okay, we create a master pipeline. From the master pipeline, first we will call this. Based on the status, we will make a second call to this. Okay, if this is failed, we will trigger a notification. If this is succeeded, we will call the second pipeline. Are you getting? Everybody understood?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Next, please, you can ask him.
so
Tell me.
the different time of the schedule is it seems like the backup, if one's fail, another is gonna trigger up, or this can be scheduled in the
That,
sequence.
no, that you have to tell. You see, for example, there
Hmm.
is a dependency. I cannot do my transformation before the data is collected. So there is a clear dependency. If this is succeeded, then only you have to run this. If this is failed, don't run this, because there is
Yep.
no use. You have not bring the data, then why you want to run this? That you have to put the dependencies, how you want to make it. Okay,
No, thank you.
next. Anybody have any other questions till here?
No.
Because theory, right, it is very boring, I know. It will be little tough to understand everything, but you try how much you can able to understand, you can understand. From tomorrow onwards, we do the hands-on so that you will get confidence. Like today itself, I will not take you through the hands-on, because without knowing what is the basic terms, you will not be able to know what we are doing, why we are doing. So today you know what is that, why we need to do data engineering, right? What is ETL, what is batch, what is streaming, what is fabric, what are the fabric components. Once you know everything, tomorrow your life will be very easy. Understood? Next, we have something called notebooks team. Remember, notebooks are basically Spark data processing engine for running your Spark code. Okay, notebooks for writing your live Spark code for data processing. Okay, next, we have a Power BI for reporting. So I'm talking only about the data engineering stuff. But apart from that, you also have a data science, right? ML related things also will be there. But I'm just strictly keeping only what is required for the data engineering. But within the fabric, remember, you can also do the machine learning stuff. Data scientist also can work within the fabric. Clear, team?
Yes.
Now, let me just show you. Allow me 1 minute. Yeah, I will open up one PPT so that I want to show you how it will look like, right? The architecture before fabric. Now, just a minute. Allow me a minute. Okay, maybe just 5 to 10 more minutes. We'll close the call for today. Okay. So now normally remember team earlier, right? For example, if there is a sales data, I'm a HP company. I manufacture the HP company laptops. My sales is happening through Flipkart, Amazon, local HP store, and the Reliance store, and so on. Now, generally, I want to know my HP laptop sales. What they will do? First, I need to use my Azure Data Factory service to collect all this data from different sources and load it into data lake storage. In data lake storage, I have three main folders. One is raw, refined, and curated. Okay. So, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, once you have a raw data, so what you need to do is you collect data from various source systems using Azure Data Factory and load it into raw. Now you have Azure Synapse and Databricks. What happens is you use Azure Synapse or Databricks. These will read data from raw. It will clean up. We discussed the missing data, inconsistent date format, duplicate data. All such cleaning we do and write it into a refined folder. Refined means what? Refined means we cleaned up everything. It is ready to consume, right? It is not having any bad data. Now refined data, you load it into here. From refined data, again, you read it into Synapse or Databricks notebook. You create your dimensions, facts, and you calculate everything and write your data back to the curated. Once data is written to the curated, from there, I will, yeah, curated means data can be written into the data lake or data can be loaded directly into the data warehouse, directly from Databricks to data warehouse also you can do. Once, let's imagine you loaded data back to the curated layer, meaning data lake itself. From the data lake, I'm querying the data using external tables. External tables means tables are created in warehouse, but those tables will not have any data. Those tables will connect to the storage account. If you delete the table in data warehouse, nothing will happen to data because data is available in data lake. Now, once your data is here, okay, once your data is here, you need to create a reports in the Power BI. Okay, you read this particular data into Power BI and create a reports. Okay. Now, once you created reports in the Power BI, like that, based on the reports, business can able to take a decision. Now, same refined data can consumed by the machine learning team for training their models. Okay, for prediction analysis. How is my sales in next 3 months? How is my loan, like a debt collection in next few months? Okay, all these things you can able to get it through the machine learning. Okay, clear team. Next, similarly, yeah, once your machine learning data is available, that data also Power BI will consume and to show up the future. Next, from the stores, there are some information. I want to do product recommendation and fraud detection. So some of the data I'm processing in real time. Product recommendation, when somebody clicked on something, I understand what he is looking for. I want to show up all the relevant product recommendations I want to do. And if at all any fraud transactions are happening, I want to identify. So for that data I'm processing in real time using Azure Custom. Okay, so like this, if you see, I'm using data factory, data lake storage, Synapse or Databricks, machine learning, Power BI, data warehouse, Azure Custom database. So everything I'm using, lot of tools I'm using here. But if you comes to Fabric, it's a single place where you can use data factory, where you can use your Spark, where you can use like Spark means you can say Synapse or Databricks, warehouse, data warehouse, machine learning, real time for product recommendation and fraud detection, Power BI for creating reports. Everything you have within the Fabric itself. But all these things are going to consume data from OneLake. Next, Generally, you need to know one more thing about the fabric is, anybody aware of IaaS, IaaS,
Information
PaaS,
as a service,
SaaS?
software as a service.
Can somebody give me the clear explanation? Everybody should be able to understand when you explain this.
Okay, IaaS means information as a service. EWAS means platform as a service. That means like our cloud, AWS, Azure, like that. And SWAS means technologies, programming languages, software as a service.
No. Don't tell whatever you know. Hold on.
Okay.
IaaS means, remember, team, infrastructure as a service. PaaS means platform as a service. SaaS means software as a service, team. Okay, because people will understand differently if you say wrong things. It's okay. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS means platform as a service, software as a service. Example I'll give you. So SaaS means you consider your Gmail. So when you are using Gmail, what do you do? You know how to use it, how to send a mail, how to look at the received mails. If you have not received a mail, you know how to check the spam. Only you will care about this, or you will care how my authentication is happening, where my mails data is storing, how the mail servers are running, how, like, what is the compute that is used backend. Are you really caring about all these things?
No, sir, we don't. Chiranjeev.
We only care about how to use these things, correct? Similarly, for example, PaaS, okay, platform as a service. Platform as a service means, let's say I am a developer, I have written my code, I want to run my code. So I know what code you have written, how much data it is processing. So you know how much compute you need. So you can decide it. You can create one platform saying that, hey, I need 4 computers for running my job. Okay, but you don't worry about 4 computers. What is the from these 4 computers, back end hardware and all? You don't have to worry about it. Only you have to say, I need 4 computers for running my job. That is called a platform as a service, meaning you are just asking what you need for running your code. IaaS means infrastructure as a service, means you will go deep dive, meaning when you take one computer for running my job, I want to know what is hardware is used. Okay, what is the how many cores are there? Okay, what is the hardware, what is the image, what type of machine is it, a Linux machine, is it a Windows machine, right? And what is the availability of this particular compute? So everything I'm going to take it. Okay, everything I need to consider it. Are you getting?
Yes.
But in PaaS, platform as a service, what is going to happen to? Okay, your team.
So clear.
Remember, if it is a infrastructure as a service, you are responsible for taking underlying operating system, networking, storage, application and a data center, everything you need to choose. Platform as a service means, team, you are responsible just to say that, okay, so um, like what, how many computers you need for executing your code. Software as a service means you don't have to worry about anything, team. You just have to submit, you just have to submit and see your result. That's it. Okay, so simple analogy, if you say, SaaS is like a staying in a hotel. Okay, SaaS is like a staying in a hotel. What happens to you?
Everything is
Staying
taken care of. Yeah.
you don't really require anything, right? So you need just like very basic things, but mostly everything will be taken care by the hotel people. Software as a service means you think of you are renting a fully furnished apartment. If you take a fully furnished apartment, you only need to bring your personal items, right? But everything else is not like everything else is managed by the platform team, platform as a service. Infrastructure as a service means like you are renting an empty house. You must bring furniture, you need to bring appliances, you need to bring everything, isn't it? That is the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Remember, your Fabric is a SaaS component, SaaS foundation, meaning you don't really worry about so many things. You just have to know what you wanted to do. You just have to submit that code. That's it. You need a data pipelines. You develop the data pipelines and you run it. You need a Spark code. You write the Spark code and run it. You don't have to know what is the background Spark power and all. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Everybody's clear till here, team.
Yes.
Yes.
So already we discussed what is fabric theory. Leave it. Now, so if I just expand little bit about this micro fabric architecture, remember in OneLake, you can create a lakehouse, you can create a warehouse, you can create a custody DB, you can create a data set. Data set is basically which points to the OneLake data, which is used by Power BI team. Custody database, which is also pointing to the OneLake, which is used by KQL for processing your real-time data. Lakehouse, as I said, it is also pointing to the OneLake. This Lakehouse data is mainly processed through the Spark. Warehouse is also pointing to the OneLake. This data is processed by the SQL. Okay, so you see these all are folders which are created inside a OneLake. When you create a folder called Lakehouse, it knows the type of folder is a Lakehouse folder. It knows what are the capabilities of it. Okay, next. As I said, analytic analysis service for Power BI will use KQL will be used by real-time streaming. Spark is for any data processing using Spark. SQL is for processing any structured data. Next, you have a this Spark comes under Synapse Engineering. TSQL comes under data warehousing. Real-time analytics KQL. Power BI is analytical service. But here Synapse Data Science is for data science team. Data Factory for data integrations, data collection, orchestration, and scheduling. Everything is happening in the data factory. Okay, clear? I think that's all what you need to know for today, team. Tomorrow we will start understanding how to create a fabric account, how we will get started with the fabric. We will do the hands-on labs from tomorrow. Okay, as you know, this is not a training institute. I am also working like you. So we do complete hands-on team. So you don't have to worry about it. So tomorrow onwards, we will be doing complete hands-on. There won't be any much theory. So 5-10 minutes, I'll discuss the scenario. We will implement those scenarios so that you will understand. Okay. Okay. So before I end the call, anybody have any questions for today?
No,
Whoever
no.
joined in the middle, I request everybody to go through the recording and understand the basic terms, because very often they will ask in interview, what is the difference between batch versus streaming data? What is the difference between ETL versus ELT? So you need to know the basic terms. Whatever we discussed is important today. Go through and be ready for tomorrow hands-on. Any questions?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, no, sir. I don't have any.
So yes, it's non-technical question. Is there a chat group for the group of sessions where we can share, or you can share the information? Is there a chat
Yes,
group?
yes, we have a group,
Okay.
but a few people are not there in the group. I'll add you. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions, Tim?
And Malaya, this actually here it is you are mentioning OneLake, right? So it is called as Lakehouse or naming as only OneLake. We will call as.
See, OneLake, you think of your main folder. like you consider OneLake is your storage account. Within that, Lakehouse is a one folder, warehouse is a one folder, push to DB data set. Everything is a one folders. Okay. 1 second.
Okay.
Let me just show you. I don't think we have a account with this. It's a long back, right? I don't think we have a account. See, when you create a in Fabric, you'll create a something called workspace. It is not there, Tim. I'll not be able to show you anything. So tomorrow I'll show you. Not tomorrow. It will take some time in order to understand that. But you will come to know. OneLake you remember as a storage account. Within that, warehouse, lakehouse, all these are just considered as your folders. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Tim?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Tim. Thank you all. That's all for today.